If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Saturday, I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. At the half here in San Francisco with the Warriors leading the Timberwolves 42-40. Money has come in on the Timberwolves as they have moved from a -2.5 live favorite to a -3.5 live favorite. Honestly, looking inside the box score, I'm baffled that they're losing this game. They allowed a 13-1 run to end the first half in the final 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That's kind of embarrassing. But the Warriors are 0 of 5 from three-point range. They are scoring all their points inside the paint against a much bigger team in the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I'm just fascinated by what we're seeing here in the Warriors. And I don't think it's sustainable. So if I had to make a play, it would be on the Timberwolves. But playoff Jimmy's alive and well as we get the third quarter underway here between the Wolves and the Warriors. First intermission, meanwhile, in Edmonton. The Oilers took a 2-0 lead over the Golden Knights, but Vegas surged right back, scoring 2 goals on Stuart Skinner as we are now tied at 2 at the end of one period. Corey Perry scored the first 2 goals for the Oilers, 1 at even strength, 1 on the power play, and then Riley Smith and Nicholas Waugh scoring goals for the Golden Knights. So a 2-2 game here, and let's look inside the numbers to see where we are after the first period. So if we look at all situations, we're not just, let's see, has there even been there? Yeah, we're a couple of power plays in this game, but let's just look at all situations. So far, looks like a pretty even game. 18 attempts for the Oilers, 19 for the Golden Knights. Of those attempts, 14 for the Oilers got through to the net, 13 for the Knights. And of those that got through to the net, just 6 on goal for the Oilers. So 6 on goal, they've scored 2 goals, 9 on goal for the Knights, and they have 2 goals as well. For the high danger scoring chances, 8 for the Edmonton Oilers, 6 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Your expected goal numbers, 1.3 for the Edmonton Oilers, 1.38 for the Golden Knights. So Vegas actually expected to score a little bit more than the Edmonton Oilers. But this looks to be as even of a period as we saw. Maybe it didn't start out that way, but it is a very even game right now as what we are watching. Meanwhile, we're keeping an eye on what's going on in Major League Baseball, and the embarrassment continues for the Colorado Rockies as the Padres lead 20-0 over the Rockies. Top of the 6th inning in Colorado. The Padres have 20 runs on 22 hits. The Rockies have 2 hits in the ballgame and 0 runs. And, I mean, they're not the... your live total is 24.5. I mean, at some point, like, what's going to happen here? Like, you're probably going to get a position player pitching, right? Like, you have to. Like, how do you even throw an arm out here? How do you waste somebody pitching if you're the Rockies? But then again, it's like, what do they have? You got nobody. Your relief pitchers might as well be position players. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. And the Padres have 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. So they're probably going to score more runs. If you're looking at, a live total of 24, the Padres might get 4 more runs because they still have to bat in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. What a pathetic team this Colorado Rockies team is. We are monitoring what's going on in the Dodgers game because we did take a Dodgers team total over 1.5. They are down 2-0 in the top of the 8th inning, and Corbin Burnes is out of the game. Ryan Nelson is in relief, and he did get Shohei Ohtani to line out to right field. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. The Dodgers, we felt good about the over 1.5 because they had the top of the lineup coming up with obviously Corbin Burnes out of the game, and this bullpen for the Diamondbacks has been one of the worst bullpens in baseball. But Ryan Nelson's an interesting guy as he strikes out Mookie Betts now, so he gets the first 2 outs here of this top of the 8th inning. And I would imagine that probably you don't keep Ryan Nelson in for the 9th. Maybe you do, or they go to Kevin Ginkel. Ryan Nelson, a Vegas kid, by the way, Henderson, Nevada. Nelson is kind of like an interesting case because they're messing with this kid. They start him sometimes. They bring him in relief sometimes. They don't give him a defined role. And I don't necessarily believe that that's good for a pitcher. You want these pitchers to start to get comfortable. But he started 1 game this season, and he's had 5 other appearances, or 7 other appearances, as I should say, in relief. This is his 8th appearance in relief, and he's got a 5.48 ERA in his 1 start this year. Let's see, where was that? In his 1 start this year, he gave up 1 home run, 2 runs on 3 hits in his 1 start. In relief, he has given up 11 runs on 16 hits, 69 at-bats against in relief. But he has done a good job getting out of the top of the 8th inning here as he got Shohei Ohtani to line out to right field, and he strikes out Mookie Betts. Freddie Freeman is up right now, and we'll see what Freeman does here. But the Diamondbacks holding on to a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. And like I said, we did play an over 1.5 on the Dodgers team total, thinking that maybe they can tie this game or take the lead. See what happens here, top of the 8th. And if Freeman does not get on, it'll be Pages, Muncy, and Kike Hernandez in the top of the 9th inning for the Dodgers. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball right now, it is bottom of the 8th inning in Houston. Astros not going away just yet. 13-8, the Reds lead the Astros. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Mets will look to walk off against the Cubs as Brett Baty hit his 2nd home run of the game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubs lead the Mets 6-5, and they're going to the bottom of the 2nd inning in Anaheim. The Angels with a 2-0 lead over the Orioles. Bottom of the 2nd inning in Seattle, the Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Blue Jays. Finals from earlier, Twins a 2-1 win over the Giants. Marlins a 3-1 win over the White Sox. Red Sox rout the Royals 10-1. Rangers blow out the Tigers 10-3. Phillies a 7-1 win over the Guardians. Rays 3-2 over the Brewers. The A's come from behind to beat the Yankees 11-7. Cardinals 4-2 over the Nationals. And in 11 innings, the Braves a 3-2 win over the Pirates. Freddie Freeman does not get on base, and so Ryan Nelson goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning as he gets Freeman to ground out. So a 1-2-3 top of the 8th for Ryan Nelson as the Kirby Yates will be in for the Dodgers facing the Diamondbacks here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And go figure. I mean, this is baseball, right? As John Sterling used to say, the New York Yankees broadcaster, that's baseball, Susan. Dodgers can score 14 runs yesterday, 6 of them in the 9th inning against the Diamondbacks, and get shut out the very next day. So, go figure. That's baseball, Susan. 14 runs one day, 0 the next. As Diamondbacks will look to close this one out. They have a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the 8th inning there in Arizona. All right, the third quarter is underway in San Francisco between the Warriors and the Timberwolves as Minnesota has a 49-48 lead with just under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Timberwolves on the live line is -4.5. Your live total 185.5. And with the NBA playoffs heating up here at VSiN, we are breaking it all down from series odds to matchup breakdowns. You're going to find more of our NBA playoff coverage right now on the VSiN Watch app. Make sure you check that out there. Tomorrow we have two games on your schedule. The early game is the Thunder at the Nuggets, where OKC is a 6-point favorite with a total of 227. And then tomorrow night, while we are on the air on Live Bet Sunday, we're going to be tracking the Cavaliers and the Pacers. Cleveland, a 5-point favorite, total of 230.5. Taking a look at the updated series prices for those two games that will take place tomorrow. The Thunder, a minus 210 favorite over the Nuggets, despite trailing 2-1 in that series. And the Cavaliers have now become a favorite once again. They were down 2-0. They were heavy favorites before the series. They lose the first game. They're still favorites, down 1-0. It finally flipped when they went down 0-2, but stealing game 3 on the road, they have now become a minus 150 favorite to win this series. And the thing that you have to be concerned about if you are a Pacers backer is that with the Cavs getting healthy, with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter back and playing, you have a full strength, or even if those guys aren't 100%, it's still as close to a full-strength Cavaliers team as they have had in a long time. I mean, I talked about this, last night, or when we were watching that game. It was the first time since April 23rd that the full contingent of players were playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there was a thought that maybe it would take a couple of games for them to get into rhythm, especially when you have a guy like Darius Garland that's such a ball-dominant guy, that it would take them a game or so. But they look great. You know, they went up big in the first quarter, but then they allowed the Pacers to come all the way back, right? And it was a tie game at the end of the first quarter, but then they dominate the second quarter. And then, you know, even the game was played evenly for the rest of the game. And it still went under. We had the under last night. We were sweating this out. 29-25 fourth quarter. There was 23 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter of that game. I was like speechless watching that because I thought I was going to lose the under, because of all the free throw attempts that were happening in that game. But thankfully, that under still came home. But 126-104, the Cavs win. Donovan Mitchell with 43 points. It's a scary sight for the Pacers moving forward. Hard to bet against this Cavs team tomorrow. More on that coming up. Plus, we'll keep an eye on what's going on in progress right now in San Francisco between the Warriors and the Timberwolves here on Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Saturday. I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we are underway here in the second period between the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of Oilers fans here at the Circa Sportsbook, and I would venture that these Oilers fans came into town for, you know, maybe they were here for games 1 and 2, or maybe they just came in for game number 2 and decided to stay the weekend here. But there is a large contingent of Oilers fans watching the game here at the Circa Sportsbook, and they were happy early on as Edmonton took a 2-0 lead. 2 Corey Perry goals in the first period, 1 on the power play, 1 at even strength, but the Golden Knights scored the last 2 goals as they have evened the game at 2 apiece, and that's where we stand 3 minutes into the second period. 2-2 your score, your live money line right now, Oilers minus 130, and your live total of 8.5 is juiced at minus 145 to the over. I do think, obviously, I believe that we're going to get more goals scored in this game. We are guaranteed at least 1 more, but I think we're going to get more. I do not trust Stuart Skinner in net for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's the biggest story in this game. The Knights are dealing with injuries. Braden McNabb not playing in this game, but they did get back Pavel Dorofeev, who is one of their top goal scorers during the regular season. So you did, it's like you lose one player, but you get another player back. So that was a good sign for the Golden Knights, getting Dorofeev back on the ice, as he is a major contributor, not just on the power play, but just in general, one of their top players this year. And Dorofeev, so far through 6 minutes of ice time, hasn't registered a shot on goal for the Golden Knights. 2 shots on goal for Riley Smith. He is one of their goal scorers. 2 shots on goal for Nicholas Hague. Elsewhere, 1 for Victor Olofsson, 1 for Mark Stone, 1 for Nicholas Waugh. He is your other goal scorer. 1 for Tomas Hertl and 1 for Ivan Barbashev. For the Edmonton Oilers, Victor Arvidsson's got a shot on goal. 1 for Trent Frederick. 2 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 3 for Corey Perry, as he has both goals for the Oilers. But none from Connor McDavid, none from Zach Hyman, none for Leon Draisaitl, and none for Evan Bouchard. I mean, keeping those 4, the big 4 there, keeping those guys off the stat sheet, that's how you win a game against the Edmonton Oilers if you are the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know if you can keep those guys down the entire game, but so far so good for the Knights. 5 minutes into this second period, still tied at 2. The all-important game number 3, because if the Knights go down 3-0, I know it's happened before in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I say this all the time. If you look at the 3-0 comebacks in all of playoffs, it happens in the Stanley Cup playoffs more than any other sport. We know that in Major League Baseball, it never happened. I say that with a smile because you guys know that if you haven't known, I am a Yankee fan, and I refuse to acknowledge that happened. So we've never seen a comeback down 3-0 in Major League Baseball. 2004 Red Sox, yes, the one time it's ever happened in Major League Baseball, a team coming back from down 3-0. It's never happened in the NBA. No team has ever won coming back from 3-0 down in the NBA. There's been a couple of teams that have forced game number 7s. Remember the Celtics and the Heat? The Celtics forced the Game 7 against the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of years ago when they were down 3-0, and they actually, I think it was, they became the first team to ever be the home team in the Game 7 after being down 3-0 and coming back. But in hockey, it's happened. We've seen teams come back from 3-0 down in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and win. It's rare. It's only happened 3 or 4 times, but it's happened. So I'm not going to just say that the series is 100% over, but it's very likely to be over. Very likely. Although we saw last year in the Stanley Cup final, the Panthers up 3-0, the Oilers winning 3 straight games to force a Game 7. So if any team knows that it's possible to blow a 3-0 lead, it's the team that in the Stanley Cup final last year won 3 straight games to force a Game 7. So, the Oilers certainly are not going to take Vegas lightly, even if they win this and they go up 3-0. But if Vegas wins this game tonight, I think we got a series. Because it wouldn't shock me if Vegas wins tonight, if they win again in game number 4, and it's a 2-2 series coming back here to Vegas for game number 5. These teams are very close competitively. Vegas has the edge in goaltending, although Adin Hill has not been as good as he's been in the regular season. And we've seen that from a lot of these goaltenders in the playoffs, and I think maybe it's only a matter of time before these guys kind of play to form. I mean, look at what we saw last night from Connor Hellebuck, who was the best goaltender by far in the regular season. I shouldn't say by far, because Darcy Kemper was incredible as well for the LA Kings. But Connor Hellebuck was the best goaltender in the world. He is going to win the Vezina Trophy for the second consecutive year. He might win the Hart Trophy as the league's most valuable player. That's how good he was this year for the Winnipeg Jets. But he was terrible in these playoffs. He got pulled in 3 games in St. Louis. Or he got pulled in those games. That's how bad he was. That's how many goals he let up. But then last night, down 1-0 in the series to the Dallas Stars, Connor Hellebuck showed up. And he had a shutout and was magnificent. And so I think when it comes to these guys that struggle in the playoffs, because you're going to struggle in the playoffs. You're not playing the bottom feeders of the NHL. You're not playing, like with all apologies to some of these teams, but the Ducks or the Blackhawks or the Sharks or some of these teams, that aren't playoff teams, that aren't even competitive for a playoff spot. No, this is the best of the best. These are the best players. These are the best teams. You're going to give up goals. You're going to look worse. But when you do round into form, that's a scary sign. And I think the Jets might be able to make a run right now if Hellebuck continues to play this way. And if Adin Hill plays like he did in the regular season, and it might just be one game. If the Knights can win this game, and maybe Adin Hill can steal one in game number 4 or somewhere down the line, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why this Knights team was one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup here. Right now, though, market to win the Stanley Cup, Edmonton Oilers are your favorite at plus 330. The Stars were your favorite, but then they lost game number 2 to the Jets. So the Oilers, up 2-0, they are your favorite to win the Stanley Cup. But should they lose this game, I think it's going to be probably Carolina would overtake them as the favorite. Carolina, Dallas, kind of with Dallas going back home. Like if we look at the series price, Dallas is a minus 155 favorite to win that series against Winnipeg. Tied at a game apiece going to Dallas. Toronto minus 125 with a 2-1 lead over the Panthers. And game number 4 in Florida coming up. And the Hurricanes now minus 550 to beat the Capitals, having a 2-1 lead. And game number 4 is on their home ice in Carolina, where they have been one of the best home teams in all of the NHL. But all it takes sometimes is a hot goaltender, and you can ride that to a Stanley Cup. We haven't seen it yet from either of these teams, the Golden Knights or the Edmonton Oilers. Certainly not from the Oilers, because Skinner's been bad. Calvin Pickard took over, and as much as people want to praise Calvin Pickard for the job that he's done in keeping the Oilers alive in these games and having them with an NHL record 6 straight come from behind victories here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, with the exception of the 3-1 win against the Kings in game number 5, 4 goals allowed, 3 goals allowed, 4 goals allowed. Not exactly a dominant effort in net. And then against the Knights, 2 goals and 4 goals. So, not exactly a dominant goaltender. But we're still tied at 2 here as we have, we have 12 minutes to go in the second period, tied at 2 between the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. I'm Scott Seidenberg. You can hit me up on Twitter at Scott's On Air as we continue these NHL playoffs. A reminder that you can stay ahead of every matchup with sharp betting analysis from VSiN's hockey experts. You can check out all of our NHL playoff coverage on the VSiN Watch app. It is a final in Arizona. The Diamondbacks have defeated the Dodgers 3-0. So a day after scoring 14 runs, the Dodgers get shut out there in Arizona. Corbin Burns getting the win. Ryan Nelson, with 2 innings of relief, picks up the 2-inning save there for the Diamondbacks. So a good win for them over the Dodgers. We'll track the rest of the Major League Baseball scoreboard, get you back to the action going on there in San Francisco between the Warriors and the Timberwolves coming up next. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It is Live Bet Saturday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Scott Seidenberg back here with you. Live Bet Saturday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Padres are up 21-0 on the Rockies. I think if the Rockies score, they should go for 2 next. Get themselves analytically back in the game, right? Go for 2, down 14. Yeah, 3 touchdowns for the Padres in this game against the Rockies. My goodness, this team. But hey, we said Padres minus a 1.5 is the play. In fact, you should be doing this against the Rockies every single time you can, because right now the Rockies have lost, and they're going to lose today. This would be their 33rd loss of the year. 30 of the 33 losses will be by 2 or more runs. The very first game of the season was a 3-2 loss for them. So if you just take away the very first game of the season back on March 28th, 30 out of 32 losses have been by 2 or more runs. Just continue to fade this Rockies team and lay the 1.5. You are totally fine doing that. 2 other games are in progress right now. Angels with a 2-0 lead over the Orioles going to the top of the 4th inning in Anaheim, and the Mariners a 1-0 lead over the Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th inning there in Seattle. Meanwhile, it is a back and forth game right now in San Francisco with the Warriors a 5-point lead on the Timberwolves, set 67-62, and don't look now, but playoff Jimmy has arrived. That's what we kept on saying. That's what a lot of people kept on saying. The only way that the Warriors win this series, the only way they take control of this series without Steph Curry is if you get playoff Jimmy. And for the first 2 games of this series, you did not get playoff Jimmy. Jimmy Butler, he had 20 points in game number 1. You know, all around good effort. As I mentioned, all the 3-pointers that the Warriors made, though, they went out and they dominated that game. Plus, the Timberwolves couldn't hit anything. Game number 2, Butler scores 17 points in defeat. Good second half for Jimmy, but that game was over. Tonight, playoff Jimmy. 28 points for Jimmy Butler with 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. He is 11 of 19 from the field, just 1 of 2 from three-point range, but 5 of 7 from the free throw line as playoff Jimmy has taken over. Meanwhile, Buddy Hield has made 2 3-pointers, and all of a sudden, Buddy Hield's got 6 points. Hey, look at Buddy. Anthony Edwards, he has 18 points for the Timberwolves. Julius Randle's got 20 points. And looking inside the box score, I mentioned the Warriors were 0 of 5 from three-point range in the first half. 4 of 14 now for the game. So 4 of 9 here in the second half, or just specifically in this third quarter for the Golden State Warriors. The Timberwolves, meanwhile, 7 of 24 from the field, and the points in the paint continue to come here for the Golden State Warriors. They had 32 in the first half. They have 42 here in the game right now. 34 points in the paint for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 67-62, the Warriors lead the Wolves. Your live line right now with under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter is Warriors minus 1.5. And your live total of 189.5. And our best bet on the Warriors team total under 97.5. Going to be a little bit of a sweat here down the stretch as playoff Jimmy is not helping us. Live total right now on the Warriors is 95.5. So we're on pace, but might need some help here, might need this to slow down a bit as they get into the fourth quarter. Maybe the defense picks up, but we'll see what happens here. 70-64, Warriors lead the Timberwolves with 1:15 to go here in this third quarter. Warriors now up to a minus 2.5 point favorite. On the ice, the Oilers are on the power play, and the game is still tied between the Oilers and the Knights at 2 apiece. Your live total is at 7.5. It is juiced to the under. And here's what I think about this one. I kind of said it earlier when it was a 2-0 game. I'd like to wait to see if the 6.5 pops back up. Because I was on the 6.5. I liked it before the game. If I'm recommending a live bet right now, I would wait to get that 6.5. The 7.5 to the under is minus 175 right now. If the Oilers do not score on this power play, it's like 6 minutes left in this second period. If there's no more goals scored in this second period, or if we just get to like the 2-minute mark maybe of this second period, maybe even more than that, maybe the 3-minute mark, this line might go down and you might get a juiced over on the 6.5. Now, it was juiced before the game. So it's not like you're paying some sort of extra tax or you're doing something that you couldn't, like you're paying a worse price than you did before the game. Before the puck drop, the total was 6.5, and the over here at Circa was minus 145. So right now, you might be able to get over 6.5 at minus 145, assuming there's no more goals scored here. In the next couple of minutes, this number will go down, and we'll see how much juice they put here on the 6.5. But your live number right now, looking at DraftKings, The 7.5 to the under is minus 195. Now, let's see if I can do an alternate total right now, if they even let you do that live. They do let you do it live, which is so dumb because it's minus 310 on the over 6.5, which makes absolutely no sense. But let's just wait and see if there's an adjustment with no more goals scored. If you got a 2-2 game going into the third period, you're going to get a 6.5 price, and I would take the over. Because, I mean, this game kind of feels very even. It feels like it could be overtime, but I don't think that only one team is going to do the scoring. Like, if a team scores a goal here, I have faith that the other team is going to tie the game. If the Knights score, I think the Oilers can tie it up. If the Oilers score, I feel like the Knights can tie it up. I'm going to look right now at let's look at the analytical numbers. So we're going to refresh this here. Through one full period and more than halfway through the second period, all situations. So we're not going to look at, we're not going to look at any special teams. Your possession attempts here, 55% to 45%. I mean, come on. This is an even game. And if we take away the Corsi attempts and we just look at Fenwick, which I'll explain again, and I've done it on pretty much every show I host, two analytical stats that I look at when it comes to hockey is there's Corsi and Fenwick. And what Corsi measures is all of your shot attempts. And that includes block shots. That includes just any time you attempt a shot, it gets counted. The Fenwick percentage is your shot attempts that actually get through to the net. So it takes away the block shots. And I actually think that's a better measure of how dominant a team is. Because you could just be trailing in a game and just shooting the puck. And then if you're not getting through, if you're constantly getting these shots blocked or a defender gets a stick in the way or whatever, like that doesn't say anything. But if you're constantly getting pucks through to the net, whether they're on goal or they just missed the net, I think that's a better measure of your dominance in possession. So if we look at all situations here in this game, in your Corsi percentage, it's 55-45. Fenwick, it's even closer, 53-47 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Your high danger scoring chances, 8-6 in favor of the Oilers. Your expected goals for this entire game, 1.58 to 1.54. This is an even game right now. We are at 2-2, 5:53 left. Your live total is at 7.5, and the draw is plus 175 if you think this game goes to overtime. Plus 175. I mean, you could have gotten a better price, obviously, before the game, so I don't like playing the 175 when we could have gotten a much better number before the game. But just seeing the way this plays out, seeing the way that this game is played out, seeing how even this game is, honestly, a bet that I might make here in the third period is the both teams to score. Especially if we get through the remainder of this period scoreless. I already told you that I like the over if it gets down to 6.5. But like I said, I don't think that it's one team pulling away from the other. So if you get a plus money price, and sometimes you get plus 150 odds, like depending on where you look, I would take a shot at both teams to score in the third period. But we still have plenty of time left in this second period. It is a 2-2 game, 4:37 to go here in this second period between the Knights and the Oilers. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors are up 73-69 over the Timberwolves at the end of the third quarter. A 31-29 third quarter has pushed this live total now up to 192.5. It is officially sweat territory for us with the live team total of the Warriors at 96.5. We have the under 97.5, so the ultimate sweat is about to occur here for this fourth quarter. But your live market now, Warriors minus 1.5. And as I mentioned, your live total of 192.5. What a third quarter from the Golden State Warriors. What a third quarter from playoff Jimmy Buckets, who is sitting here right now leading the game with 28 points. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It's Live Bet Saturday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The Golden Knights have taken a 3-2 lead over the Edmonton Oilers as they get a goal from William Karlsson, his third of the postseason. Knights lead 3-2 with under 2 minutes to go in the second period. And your live line right now, VGK minus 345 with a live total of 7.5. So we have 5 goals right now. And live total of 7.5 minus 125 to the over is, it's not a lock here, because if this game winds up being 3-3 and going to overtime, you're only getting 7 goals. But VGK is on a power play here to end the second period. So if the Knights get another goal here and go up 4-2, obviously that live total is going to change. And listen, do you think the Oilers are done scoring? I got to be honest. I don't think the Knights are done scoring. Whether it's an empty netter or not, or just another goal past Stuart Skinner, I could see the Knights winning 5-2, maybe 5-3. An over 7.5 maybe. But I'll tell you right now, I would take a shot on VGK minus a goal and a half at plus 120, because they could certainly score here on this power play to end this period and go into the third period up 4-2, or they just go into the third period up 3-2, and you have the entire third period to get another goal, which I believe they do, past Stuart Skinner, because I do not trust Stuart Skinner. And in this playoffs, how could you trust this guy? And, of course, the empty net is always a possibility if, in fact, the Knights still hold a 1-goal lead at the end of the game. I will say this. If we go back and we look at the amount of times that the underdog has won here in this Stanley Cup playoffs. So let's just go to this playoffs alone. The Knights are the underdog, right? When the underdog wins, there's been 21 wins by the dog here in this postseason. Of those 21 wins, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14-7. Of the 21 wins by the underdogs here in the postseason, 14 of them have been by 2 or more goals. So just think about that. If you imagine this, imagine taking a dog here and going with an alternate puck line of minus a goal and a half on an underdog that you like to win. Instead of just taking, the plus price on them to win the game, you actually go with an extra plus money price on a minus a goal and a half. Of the 21 wins for underdogs here in this playoffs, 14 of them have been by 2 or more goals. I mean, that's amazing. I feel like there's been more than 21 wins by the dogs, but at least that's what this database says. If you win and you're the dog 21 times, 14 of those 21 have been by 2 or more goals. And let's just look at tomorrow's games, for example, as we will head into the third period with the Knights having a 3-2 lead. You can get Knights minus a goal and a half right now at plus 130. Plus 130 on VGK minus a goal and a half. Tomorrow, the Winnipeg Jets are at the Dallas Stars. Game 3, first game in Dallas. This is a 1-1 series after Connor Hellebuck returned to form and pitched a shutout in game number 2. You can take the Winnipeg Jets at plus 124 on the money line right now as the dog, if you think that they can win the game, for sure. But if you want to take the Jets as the dog to win and cover a minus 1.5 puck line, you can get plus 280 to plus 300, depending on your book, and DraftKings has plus 280 on the Winnipeg Jets to win by a goal and a half. What about Toronto? Toronto is in Florida. Florida's a heavy favorite, minus 185. You could take Toronto on the money line at plus 154, or Toronto minus a goal and a half. So it's an alternate line here. You can get plus 320 on Toronto minus a goal and a half. And half the time, 14 times, so more than that, but 14 times, double the times, 14 times out of the 21 wins by the underdogs here in the Stanley Cup playoffs, 14 of them have been by 2 or more goals. That's crazy. 14 wins by the underdogs out of the 21 total wins have covered an alternate puck line of minus a goal and a half. Okay? Listen, if there's one dog I actually like, it's probably the Toronto Maple Leafs. Florida looks good. Florida looked great in that game. Toronto's been great all playoffs long. Now, the Jets Stars, that's tough. To me, that is an absolute coin flip series. I think Hellebuck might be the difference, and he certainly was in game number 2. I think the home atmosphere is going to be great for Dallas in tomorrow's game. Jason Robertson now with more games under his belt, coming back from injury. And, you know, Dallas getting healthier. You're wondering, does Miro Heiskanen play? It appears that Miro Heiskanen is ruled out for game number 3. But the Stars do expect that he could return this series because he is skating, he is playing. You know, Jason Robertson did come back. So they got one of their top forwards back from injury. And like I said, now another game under his belt as he's starting to get more comfortable in the flow of things. You know, Dallas becomes even more dangerous if Heiskanen can somehow get back in this series. He's been out for a long time, and he's their top defender. But, I mean, if Dallas wins this game, even if Dallas loses this game, the series is far from over. Series price right now, Dallas minus 155, Jets plus 135 on the other side. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here in the NBA playoffs, as this is a battle now with 6 and change to go in the fourth quarter. The Warriors with an 82-81 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves. As I mentioned, we have about 6 minutes or so remaining in the fourth quarter. Playoff Jimmy is doing his thing. 33 points for the Golden State Warriors for Jimmy Butler. Anthony Edwards, meanwhile, 28 points for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Julius Randle's got 24 points as well. But playoff Jimmy in full effect here. 33 points on 12 of 23 shooting. 24 points off the bench for Jonathan Kuminga on 9 of 12 shooting from the field. And as the team stats look, Warriors 7 of 17 from three-point range, Timberwolves 10 of 28. The Warriors were 0 of 5 in the first half. You knew they were going to shoot more than 5 three-pointers in the second half. It was just a matter of where they're going to hit them. Well, 7 of 12 so far in the second half. Pretty good numbers. Reason why they have this lead right now, 82-81. Your live market is the Timberwolves, minus 1.5. Your live total of 193.5. And we are still sweating our Warriors team total, live team total, 96.5. We have under 97.5. So, sweating right now for the final 6 minutes and change of this game. Stay tuned. Coming up next right here after Live Bet Saturday, it's Cashing Out with Greg Peterson at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and then kick off your Sunday tomorrow morning with the VSiN Weekend Morning Line at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Ready, Set, Bet at 1 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. And then yours truly, I will be back on Live Bet Sunday tomorrow night. Here's your full schedule for tomorrow at, 3:40 or 4:40, I should say, Eastern Time on the ice. You got the Winnipeg Jets at the Dallas Stars, with Dallas a minus 148 favorite in that game, the total of 5.5. And the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Florida Panthers, a 7:40 Eastern Time scheduled puck drop. Might be closer to 8 p.m., depending on what that first game does but right now Florida minus 185, high total of 6.5 in that game. In the NBA, Thunder Nuggets at 3:35 Eastern time, and the Thunder are minus 6, total of 227. I like the under, just like I like the under in game number 3, but this is also an early start time. And you guys know with these NBA playoff games that start in the afternoon games, so anything earlier than the 7 p.m. Eastern time normal start for these teams, or the 7 p.m. local start for these teams, I do lean towards the under. So that's at 227 between the Thunder and the Nuggets. And then tomorrow night, 8:05 Eastern time, Pacers hosting the Cavaliers. Cavs are 5-point favorites, total of 230.5. Golden Knights lead 3-2, second intermission in Edmonton. We'll see if the Knights can close it out. I like the minus a goal and a half at plus 130. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Live Bet Saturday here on VSiN, the